Shalom. Kol Halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Wakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to the 144,000, the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, among the heathen that look like the heathen, the Israelite foreigners. Right, and a special shout out to my fellow laborers who do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. All right, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And let's keep her queued up. Let's go to the next video. Actually, the one I want to go to first. All right, and this is Patriot Nurse. I actually like this chick channel. She really gives out good information. However, when it comes to biblical things, she has no clue. She thinks she does, but she doesn't. And her history. And here's the crazy thing. I actually believe, and this isn't important at all, it's just me speaking as a man. I believe this chick is actually one of the scattered. Nowhere near being of the elect. But I do believe she's one of the scattered. And I believe that because of there's something about her spirit. Especially her belief in the Bible is just her lack of understanding. And she definitely has a very Judeo-Christian theologian understanding of the scriptures, which is zero. And I think she is. I think she's a JOO, and she supports them and she believes them, and you know, which is almost hilarious that people in this time and age still think or push the fact, or push not the fact, but the myth that those are the people of the Lord. All right, but without any further ado, we're going to let her speak. We're going to let Abby speak. And then we're going to hear the truth. Because the truth of the matter is that neither one of the people that are currently in the land of Israel belong there. All right. And we're going to give you receipts and evidences to prove that. Not just saying that. So without any further ado, the Patriot Nurse.
Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Thanks for joining me today in this video. We're going to discuss what the real humanitarian crisis is in Gaza and what the Ivy League schools and CNN and the establishment's status quo lackeys would like you to believe.
Now, Ivy League schools were the standard of education and understanding, but now all of a sudden, anytime you don't agree with the narrative, that look at the freeze frame, the face. But anytime you don't agree with the narrative, all right, and it is a narrative that the people over there in the land, all right, are the people of the Lord, because they're the Edomites, they're Amalek, all right, and they fit every prophecy of Amalek. And you're going to see how deeply rooted in the next video clip, how they're taught those lies and believe those lies and believe that the going back to the land actually applies to them. All right. And what they don't understand is that when the Israelites go back to the land, the Lord is going to take them there. They don't go back on their own with armies and planes and stuff like that. But anyway, let's let her continue.
So at this point in the response to the butchery, which we saw, where over, I believe at this point, 1,200 Israeli civilians, men, women, and children, were burned alive, beheaded, mutilated, massacred by a jihadist guerrilla element that had the popular support of the constituency of Gaza. We are about a week and change away from this. And at this point, as I mentioned, as I said was going to happen about a week ago, the world's sentiment is turning against Israel. The jihadist elements that have infiltrated the Western world.
What she does not understand is that that's prophecy. All right? That Amalek would be, that the Lord would have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right? And that through them, all right, they're going to draw the rest of the world out. It clearly tells you that the least of the flock shall draw them out. Let's grab that. All right, let me go find that scripture real quick. So got a lot to cover, and I don't want this phone to die. Everything's extra slow right now. Because I can't remember where that scripture is off the top of my head. So I use technology to get it. Jeremiah 49 and 50. Either one will work. But yeah, we'll read Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right. Matter of fact, 49 is even better. 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom. See, this is how you know the Edom. All right. And his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Right. And what if they, and Teman is what? Modern day Germany. Where the majority of them come from. Germany, Poland, Ukraine. Yeah. Temanites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So their actions is what's making the world turn against them. All right? Let us continue.
Because we brought them here and let them in and had their constituency multiplied to the point where we have several of them who are serving in Congress.
Son of a fucking asshole. When I watched this video, that did not happen.
People are starting to cry that Israel is committing genocide and starving people out and humanitarian crisis, blah, 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 blah. Because the water got turned off, the electricity got turned off, etc. And people were told to evacuate and to go south.
That also happened in 1967. All right? Same thing. They turned off the water and the power and,
The amount of sheer hypocrisy by people whose very fundamental belief system is genocidal in its nature. Jihadism is genocidal. There's no question about it. Even the documents that support them from a
and I find that hilarious coming from a JOO, because they came into the land doing exactly what she's accusing them of. So you can see the Patriot Nurse. I don't want to leave a face like that. But you can see her stance, and I don't, and me personally, I don't is not has nothing. I don't care. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm for the truth, and I'm for my people. And my people are the actual Israelites that belong in that land. All right, and people like this and many of the world want to continue to deny the evidences and the truth that proves it. All right, but pretty soon they won't be able to ignore it anymore. But then now let's get a different take. Let's go to Abby now. And this was off Breakthrough News. All right, so let's let hers play for a moment. And this is all, you can see the division. All right, because Abby is American, I do believe, but she's worked for a lot of different foreign medias. All right, and she actually does independent journalism, something that you don't see too much anymore, because all the journalists in here in America are there's no such thing. They're not journalists, they're reporters. They read what they're told. They're all, controlled by the same 6 conglomerates, all the media here in America. And those 6 conglomerates, for the most part, are all in cahoots with one another.
And a democracy, it's quite the opposite. And you even see founders of the state of Israel. I mean, the first prime minister, Ben Gurion. When you look at what his statements were during the foundation of Israel, he says, we must expel the Arabs and take their places. This was an explicitly articulated sentiment across pretty much every leader of Israel, no matter how progressive the United States depicts them. I mean, look at Levi Eshkol during the 1967 war. He said, if we don't give them enough water, maybe their orchards will wither and yellow. And I think that that's a policy that they've obviously continued in place in Gaza, where people do not have clean, potable water and haven't for some time. It's a completely untenable situation. It's unlivable. And it's atrocious that people who call themselves progressive can actually bend over backwards and make the mental gymnastics to excuse this and somehow pretend that you can be progressive, except for the case of Palestine.
I was looking at this poll from Hebrew University in Jerusalem, which surveyed Israeli youth, and it said that 66% of Orthodox youth, 42% of religious youth, and 24% of secular youth quote-unquote hate Arabs, and 49% of religious youth and 23% of secular Israelis say they want to strip Palestinians of the right to vote. You guys at the Empire Files released a video called Everyday Israelis Express Support for Genocide, which the video kind of speaks for itself. I want to play a short clip for viewers, and by the way, these interviews were shot in a park called Tolerance Square in the Jewish quarter of Jerusalem, but here's the clip.
I think also that every Arab that doing a terrorism attack, we have to kill him, and not because he's an Arab, because he's a terrorist. I think you should also kick out the family, because it all begins with chinuch. How you say
education. I don't think there's any answer to it. Really? There's only one way. Like, I would carpet bomb them.
You would carpet bomb them?
It's the only way you could deal with it.
I think that we're miserable. The Arabs make a פיגועים and we need to kill Arabs.
Okay.
We'll talk about this later.
And how God punished is the sins by other people. He sent the Nazis, and now he sent Palestinians.
Now, he actually has a point. This guy here. The Lord does use other people. Right now, Edom is the hammer of the earth. All right? And the hammer of the earth views every problem and every problem as a nail, and they smash. And that's exactly what they're doing. All right, let's see if I can go back to
Israel is one of the most racist countries in the world. While you'll never hear anyone in the mainstream media say this, this is actually one of the most important things you need to understand if you want to know what's happening right now.
One by one, cut their heads off.
From its inception, the whole idea of Israel as a country was based on racism. Israel was conceived as a Jewish state, and while there's nothing wrong in principle with Jews having a homeland, the problem is that they insisted that that homeland had to be in Palestine, which already belonged to someone, the Palestinians. The slogan of Israel's founders was a land for a people without a land. But deep down, they all knew that the only way to have a Jewish majority in Palestine, an Arab country, was to expel the Arabs. One of the founders of Israel, Yosef Weitz, wrote, "There's no room in the country for both peoples. There's no way but to transfer the Arabs from here to neighboring countries." Israel was quite literally founded by expelling and massacring hundreds of thousands of Arabs in a year's...
And the Patriot Nurse said what she said. Now, flip side of that coin, Ishmael doesn't belong there. Flip side of that coin is that some of the real Israelites are mixed in with those Palestinians. All right, we're going to provide some evidence of that. And, we've known that. We've told you that for years. But nevertheless, the scriptures clearly say that when Israel goes home, they will dwell in peace and safety alone. So what we have to do is focus on prophecy. This is Deuteronomy 33 and 28, and it reads, "Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon the land, corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew." So when Israel goes home, they're going to have everything. They're going to dwell in peace and safety. They're not going to have to worry about putting someone out of their land. All nations will be under the authority of the Israelites, be under the law of the heaven. And the givers of the law will be the Israelites. Okay? It mainly the 144,000. That's their job. They will be the new governing government for the entire world. That's what it is. And that's not what's going on. Because this is what's happening. We'll go to Ezekiel. 36 and 5. See, Edom, just like it said, they would draw everyone out. Edom appointed the land of Israel in their hands with the Balfour Declaration back during World War I. But this is Ezekiel 36 and 5. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, Surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. See, that's the Greek way of saying Edom. All right. Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. So they casted out Israel. Now they're violently casting out Ishmael, the Ishmaelites. And of course, among those Ishmaelites are Israelites. This is Gabal Abdel Nasser, president of Egypt in 1951, I believe. It says Gamal Nasser Hussein was an Egyptian military officer, politician who served as the second president of Egypt from 1954 until his death in 1970. Nasser led the Egyptian Revolution in 1952. All right. But when you start reading it, it says nothing about a famous quote that they seem to have stripped from the internet. And actually, way back in like 2008, 2009, I had a buddy of mine. He was actually Mr. Illinois and Mr. Universe once, who's from Jordan. And I played this clip of Abdul Nasser saying what I'm about to read. He said it in Arabic and he translated it and said, damn, that's exactly what he said. But here it is. It says, you will never be able to live here in peace because you left here black and came back white. All right. Gamal Abdel Nasser, 1952, second president of Egypt. All right. This quote about, I won't say it. You can read it for yourself. The JOOs, the fraudulent ones. All right. Currently in Israel, Gamal Nasser was the leader of Egypt from 1954 until his death in 1970. So there it is. That is what this man said on national TV. And like I said, you used to be able to find that clip on YouTube and on the internet, but it's been stripped off YouTube. I don't know where to find it. So if anyone can find it, post up the link or where it can be found. But that's what he said. All right. And when we start talking about prophecies again, the Israelites got scattered. Okay. And as a matter of fact, let's play a short video proving that point. And they got scattered for disobeying the laws, and they're going to be gathered up again. All right. And when we go into the prophecies, it completely breaks all of that down. So this is a video that's going around TikTok right now. I don't know how much longer it will before the JOOs cry foul and get it removed, but we'll play it while we have it.
In parts 1 through 4, the Jewish people are in fact Ukrainians from an area formerly called Khazaria, as tested by their own Jewish historians, scholars, and rabbis. The Palestinians, on the other hand, have a different story. Historians state that when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, that Rome allowed a small segment of Hebrews to remain, namely servants and farmers, besides the ones captured and the ones who fled into Africa and Arabia. These peoples would eventually incur some mixing with other groups who conquered Palestine, in particular the Ottoman Turks. To this day, the groups of people who occupy Palestine is a combination
The Turks are also Amalek, by the way.
Original Hebrews, who are labeled as Afro-Palestinians.
The African presence is still visible in Israel today. There are thousands of African Palestinians who live in Israel with deep roots to the land, whose ancestors date back for centuries. I met with Ali Jaddah, tour guide, and the informal mayor of the African Palestinians in Old Jerusalem. I asked him about his life and relations between the Afro-Arabs and the Jews.
Well, life for him, I think it's the hell. I'm one of those people who had experienced that. To be Palestinian, that's a big problem. But to be a black Palestinian, I'm quite convinced it will be there, because as a black Palestinian, I am double oppressed by the Israelis.
In what way?
In what way? I will explain. First of all, they oppress me as a Palestinian. Secondly, they oppress Israeli side, they call me Kushi. Kushi means nigger. Kushi means nigger.
So, in Israel, the land of God, people who were the brothers of the Arabs, two brothers, you are called nigger as I am called nigger in America?
Let's say on the surface, this is what they say, that this is the land of God and we are cousins and there should be total equality. But once you come to the practice, when you come on ground, you will find that there is a lot of discrimination and there is a real divorce between what they say and what they exercise.
Blacks and whites who watch the show saying, so why stay? Why stay when you are called nigger every day? Why stay when you are denied your rights?
On the contrary, the more they humiliate me, the more they oppress me, the more I stick to my land. Because this is my land. I'm so rooted. We are deeply rooted as Africans, as Palestinian Africans in this land. And we know pretty well that our ancestors, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years, had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States. Our ancestors, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years, had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States, from Africa to the United States, from Africa to the United States.
So there it is. So when we tell you that Deuteronomy 28, let's go ahead and read it, is the number one curse identifier to who the Israelites are. It is. All right. What the hell just happened here? All right, this is Deuteronomy 28:68, and it reads, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again. Egypt meaning slavery, the house of bondage, with ships. All right. The ones that got taken to America, like he said, went with ships. By the way I spake thereof, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All right, the Israelites got sold off slave ships, and they got sent to the Americas and to the islands and all over the place. All right, this is the book of Baruch. Let's go to Baruch, the 3rd chapter, in the 8th verse, and it reads, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach, nigger, a curse, all right, and to be subject to payments, according to the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. Hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear and understand wisdom. You've got to keep the laws. Esau, Edom set up Christianity, which teaches you don't have to keep the laws. How happened it, Israel, that thou art in thy enemy's land, and that thou hast waxen old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead? People that don't know who they are. All right, and that's part of the curses. Going back to Deuteronomy 28, let's go to like 44, 45, wrap this up. It says 44, Deuteronomy 28:44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. All right. They own the banks. They do all the lending. School, house, home, business. All right. They're the head, we're the tail. All right. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou shalt be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And now, thank Yahweh, we're at the end of that. And that Esau, Edom is being exposed. All right? And him being exposed, and the least of the flock drawing everybody into this third conflict, well, what's going to come next? Complete and total chaos, breakdown of society, and then the enforcement of the micro C-hip. Hold on, we're almost out of here. Shalom.